What's up everyone, it's Joey Blush Response with another new video for you. Today I want to talk about 10 albums that I really love. This is not like a top 10 list of albums, just 10 I'm into that maybe you need some recommendations for. So first one on the list, Orix, Radiotherapy. Orix are big heroes of mine. They're one of the reasons I got into techno, and this album was instrumental in helping me cross that divide. Just the textures, the sounds, the interesting synthware from Rich and Christy. Christy especially is the genius of modular. I've had her here on my system and she makes it make sounds that I've never heard before, and just that album really does it for me. It's deep, it's complex, it makes you think, it's powerful. My favorite track on that album, it's hard to pick between Contamination or Tensile. I love both. I DJ Tensile a lot because it's very playable. Incredible album. Next up, one of my all-time favorites, Front 242, Tyranny for You. If there's one album from 242, this is the one for me. Favorite track, probably Moldavia or Gripped by Fear. I love the clangorous FM world contained within this record. It's just so dystopian, it's so dark, it's so cool, and everything about it is cool. I have a vintage shirt that I've had for like over 10 years, and it was probably 20 years old when I got it, that I wear with the album cover all the time. It's so good. Definitely my favorite 242 album. Check it out if you haven't heard it. Next up is Clock Deviate, Buried Dreams, which in my eyes gets the vote for one of the sexiest albums of all times. There's something about it when you put it on, it just takes you directly into this world. And again, it's another deep, dark, and creepy one that makes you think, might make you a little uncomfortable, and in general just has such a vibe. Cinematic. Oh, it's like listening to the movie Stalker, but as an album, if I could describe it in any other way. So powerful. And I love Clock DVA. The recent album Noasis is really cool as well. Next up is Frontline Assembly, Hardwired. I'm a Frontline fan, lucky to play with them, and Hardwired is a beast of an album. I especially like it because it combines all of their previous eras at the time, between like the caustic grip, more punky vibe, to the tactical textural programming, to the millennium metal stuff. It's all in there, courtesy of Reese. A lot of Emulator 4 on that album, a lot of OBMX, a lot of really cool sounds, and the bass on it is so powerful. If you put on Neologic Spasm, right away you'll just notice how deep and huge that bass is, and it is really, really present in such a good way. It's not like overpowering sub, it's clear, defined bass presence. It's huge. Next up on the list, one of my favorites from Coil, Horse Rotivator. This is the album that got me into them, and it's kind of a good starter album for them in general. It has a bit of everything, and just the weirdness, John Balance's vocals, the cool instrumentals, tracks like Penetralia, Slur, Ostia, incredible melodic passages. But I have to give it up to my favorite track, the first 5 minutes after Death. Just wow, emotional, so much done with just a few notes for the progression, and it's really powerful. That one has brought me to tears a few times. Next up, 9 Inch Nails, Year Zero. If we want to talk about albums that gave me an awakening, 9 Inch Nails has done that a lot for me. And I want to highlight Year Zero because I think it's quite underrated in the discography, and it's one of my favorites. The favorites for me are Fragile, Downward Spiral, and Year Zero. And I think Year Zero was such a step forward in sound design for Nin. All the crazy, screechy, modular sounds, and just all the interesting programming, the pitched and cut up guitars, and all these kinds of things really stand out. And that whole era of like Year Zero, The Slip, and Ghosts was really, really special for me. I also want to point out, because the stems of the album are available online, so I'm pretty sure on the track Vessel, there's a sample from the game Black and White, because I swear there's a whole passage of audio in there and you hear the sound of the tiger creature. So if someone can confirm that for me, that'd be awesome. But I was like, wow, he played that game too, which made it even more interesting for me. And in general, yeah, I love that record. God-Given, Vessel, The Good Soldier, Zero Sum. It's got so many bangers. My Violent Heart, it's awesome. Next up, This might be my favorite album of all time, and I don't say that lightly. It's a toss-up between two albums from this artist, but download The Eyes of Stanley Payne. It's just a masterwork of experimental electronic production. You have every genre at once while simultaneously having no genre. Kevin Key, Ken Marshall, parts from Dwayne, Mark Spivey, like incredible work. I remember the first time I put this album on, it was too much for me, I should say. The first track, Sunni C, the intensity level just completely blew me away that I had to turn it off at first, and it scared me a little. It made me anxious, and I was like, wow, I've never heard music so intense. So then I tried it again like a week later, and I was like, all right, let me see if I can make it through this track. And then the opening of the track towards the end, where you have the big pad and Mark Spivey's vocal comes in and tells you you can do anything, you can be anything you want to be. And just that sort of contrast, how they were able to take such frenetic energy that overwhelmed me so much and then turned it into this beautiful passage, blew my mind apart. I cannot stress that enough. I was instantly in. And then you got bass metal, glass blower. God, there's so many amazing tracks on there. Seven Plagues with the filtered beat. And oh my God, if you want to hear it, real electronic albums, check that out. Collision has this chaotic, ring modulated weirdness modular passage that turns into one of the most beautiful ambient techno tracks I've ever heard of all time. It is so powerful. Amazing album. And then Furnace, its counterpart, the one that came before, also gave me just as much of an awakening. I have trouble picking between the two. I'll talk about Furnace in another one of these videos. Next up, Autechre, Try Repete. Autechre is one of my favorite acts of all time. Anyone who knows anything about electronic music knows that they are some of the most innovative in their time, of all time, period. They're quite humble about it too. They often say in interviews like, oh, we didn't really invent anything. But yes, they did. Their techniques, their sound, their composition, it's always forward thinking. It's always next level. And even if there's a track I don't like, there's something about it that's interesting. And I'll tell you a funny story with Try Repete, because when I first heard it, I kind of wrote it off. I was like, yeah, this is whatever, but I like Aphex Twin better. And then it was my midterms in college, and I wanted to put something on in the background while I was studying. And I was like, well, this Autechre stuff, it seemed kind of like background music. It wouldn't get in the way. So I put it on, and I could not focus on my studying. It grabbed me almost instantly, took me deep in there, and I was stunned by the textures. There's these kind of grainy, granular weirdness. I don't mean granular synthesis, but the textures sound like crunching cereal a lot of the time in such a cool way. The programming, I know they're using the Ensoniq EPS 16 Plus, DX100, a lot of other stuff. The sounds are incredible. The Juno on there, I love Uto, I love Clipper, RSD10. Just wow, amazing album, one of my favorite of all time. And Autechre then became one of the most influential acts for me. If I had to name my favorites ever, Autechre's in there, Coil's in there, Skinny Puppy and all their projects are in there, Frontline, Mika Vanio, Pansonic, Ilpo. Like, man, I would not be here today without Autechre. The next two on the list are going to be a little bit of a tough topic for me, but they are important albums, and I wanted to share their music with you guys. If you're not aware, three friends of mine passed away this weekend. Juan of Silent Servant, his wife Simone, and Louis of the Soft Moon. All three were really good friends of mine. Louis is like a brother to me. So the first album I want to highlight is Silent Servant's Negative Fascination. That album was a turning point for me, along with Orix Radiotherapy, for getting into techno, because suddenly I saw that there was a darkness to this music. And it also, for me, was a big lesson about complexity in music, because the record is quite simple, and it's so effective with the few elements that it has, that I had this awakening that not everything needs to have grandiose changes or be hyper complex to blow you away. It just has to have a vibe, something about it, an emotion. And I think Juan's simplicity in his music captured that so well. He was always minimal, but there was always something about it that made you keep listening. And Negative Fascination was the one for me. Rest in peace, Juan, Simone. I had just seen them a month ago in LA, and it was really good to hang with them, and it's sad that they are not gone now, but you should check out Silent Servant's music because he's incredible. Next one up is The Soft Moon. I'm choosing the recent album Exister for this because I feel like this was the most complete approximation of what Luis was going for. He and I go way back. We're both Cuban, and when I went on tour opening for him, finding that out and that there's not so many of us making dark music kind of instantly gave us this brotherhood bond that we felt we needed to stick together. And, you know, we clicked well personality-wise, and it was just like instant, deep friendship intensity. I don't know how to explain it other than that, but we always felt that deep love. Every time I saw him was wonderful. I miss him so much. And Exister is an incredible album. I've been listening to it all week, and I listened to it when it came out, but I really feel what Luis was going through in his lyrics. I know what he's thinking about, what he's writing about, and the album is just amazing. I hear the influences. He always used to say that he was into stuff like me and Face Fatale and other people, and I hear it in the music. I think he is an incredible songwriter, and I wish he got to do more. We had been talking that he had just gotten a Waldorf Quantum after I recommended it to him, and that it was giving him a creative awakening, and it's a shame to me that inspiration is just gone, and we'll never hear what that awakening was about. But I appreciate the things he did, and Exister is a masterwork. I definitely recommend that album. It's just really, really good. I've been hooked all week. I was hooked when it came out, and I miss my friend. Yeah, thanks for watching. I always want to try and introduce new video ideas to you guys, just to keep the formats interesting. I don't always want to do the same thing all the time, so I hope you like this one. I'm going to be thinking about more things. Maybe I'll do a video of 10 games or 10 animes or something. And even 10 more albums, because I like a lot of music. There's a lot of cool music in the world. So yeah, if you're interested in supporting the channel, you can check out my music, check out the affiliate links. As always, check out my Patreon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.